I'd give you a good example here, and this is kind of ties into a lot of our conversation here today, in that you remember a couple of months ago that condo that had the termites, but it had condos on the other side.
Yes.
And then so the whole thing was, do we tint the entire
But you
complex?
can't tent it unless every owner agrees.
And the owner of the one that we were in
Mess.
contract on was a lender entity, and they didn't want to do anything.
Bank owned.
But we had to go ahead and get the place treated. Anyway, so the one lady at the end of the complex, she said, well, I'll pay for the tinting, but we just couldn't get an agreement. So anyway, so she was very happy with the fact that we tried to help out with that.
Yeah.
So she called recently and said, hey, look, I got a tenant just moved out of a property. We don't intend to sell it, but could you help us? And these are elderly folks.
Yeah.
Could you help us like fix it up? And I went in there. The floors were warped, needed paint. Stuff was broken. The kitchen doors were off the cabinets. And I said, sure, we'll help you. So we went to our trusted vendor list,
Yeah.
called some of those guys in a heartbeat, got them over there to give some bids. And I mean, what did that take? It took maybe half a day out of my life. But here's some folks I can walk away going, you know what?
We're able to really
They're
help.
taken care of.
Right.
And there'll probably come some time in the future where they'll say, hey, we've got some properties to sell or whatever. But that's not the point. When people ask us for things, if we have the resources, we're going to share them.
Well, and if you're a vendor out there and you want to get added to our list, we'd love to have coffee with you, see what kind of work you do.
Yeah.
So reach out to us. But I think that the growing list that we have of just incredible people has made us, again, going back to that reputation, right? There's something to say when you've got relationships that are just really tight all over the place. And I'm really...
think about how long it takes to build that. I mean...
years
you just
and years
get
and years
in-
and years.
Yeah, you just get into the business. I mean, it can literally take you a decade to build those kind of relationships that now we can just hand off to people and not have any concerns that these are people we can refer you to and you're going to be totally pleased with them. We've used them for years.
Totally.
They're vetted, etc.
Benicia is one of the best kept secrets.
Yes, it is.
I want to talk about
That's
Benicia.
why we live there.
Yeah. So how many years ago did you move to Benicia?
40 years ago in June.
Okay. I think that
Raised you there.
I did. Yeah. You're still in the home that you raised me in.
I know that and I know
which is
too,
mind blowing.
Any realtors that are listening to this, they're going to go, "What? You're supposed to move every 2 years until you get up to your castle or whatever it is." Now we fell in love with the place, and we've been there, raised our kids. It's like a little Mayberry town, 28,000 people, one road in, one road out, safe. Love it. By the water.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Pleasantville,
perfect
USA.
lifestyle. Yeah, there you go.
Here's the thing about Benicia, and this is why I think it's kind of like I'll use the listing that I have that's on this little tiny street, and it's only one owner up until now. It's on the market because it's got just panoramic water views. It's been loved and cared for. It's just meticulously well kept, and that little street right there. I actually hadn't even ever been on that because why would I go there? Unless you know someone in those like 7 houses, it's a little court, you wouldn't have a reason to go there.
Right.
But that is probably one of the best streets I've ever been on. And I didn't even know it existed. Right. And so Benicia has so many little pockets like that, but you're not ever getting in there unless one of those homes comes up and there's, so when I start to look at how many places there are, how many streets and little tiny places that even now, almost 40 years later that we're finding these little gems and these incredible pockets. That's so special. And to only have 30,000 people, but we are going to be growing, right? Benicia is going to grow.
We very well could. In fact, you probably ought to bring that into the conversation here because that's probably the number one question that we get these days is what's happening in Benicia with Valero, the Valero refinery shut down and leaving.
Right.
What's happening with that?
Well,
and people are speculating
yes,
all over the board, but there's actually some concrete moving forward
Not with Valero. I mean, for the concrete is that Valero is gone.
That's
right.
done.
That's
They're moving
done.
with everybody else out of California.
But there is a couple other developers that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Right.
Right. So they will be building, and they're talking about building 2,000 homes in Benicia.
We got two major builders right now that actually are one's actually in the due diligence plan, will probably be there for the next year.
Yeah.
And
the other one is they are going to be doing this. They're going to be breaking ground probably within a year. So to think that Benicia is like this tiny little cutesy town and we don't have a lot of space to build homes, but out towards the industrial park, there's all this space, which is where this development will go. So many people are concerned because they might have some also lower income housing available and that kind of thing. And I don't think that's a reason to get